for the first storytelling event I went to, me and my friends went to this comedy show called like Therapy Comedy, and it was like $5. I have no idea how we found it. And I didn't know, we had no idea what we were getting ourselves into. Like there was no really description. So we showed up at the place and I assumed it would be like a theater or something, but it was a restaurant. And so like we got there and we like thought we were in the wrong place at first. And then this like worker was like, no, like, and so he took us to like this back room in the restaurant. And yeah, it was just like a bunch of tables and then like a space that was the stage. Like it was really small, it was like really intimate. And they sat us like right in front of where the speaker was gonna be. And so like I was a little stressed out because I didn't want to be like, I did not want attention on me at all. But it was good. Like they did, there was like 6 different comedians and like one of them would like come up and like make a few jokes and then introduce the next person. And like he would do that for every person. And he was the dude who would like make jokes like in the crowd. And like, yeah, he made fun of me and my friends like once or twice, but it was fine. Like it was funny. But like each person, he was good though. Like he like walked around the room and stuff, and like no one really thought he was funny for some reason. But like when no one, instead of like having like awkward silence when no one would laugh at his jokes, he would like be like, fuck you, like that was funny or something. Like he like played it off like really well. And then there were like 6 other comedians, and like they each had like their own like personality that they like probably exaggerated for the sake of the show. Like there was like the girl, like this like the girl boss, like preppy girl who like she was like in sparkles and shit, and she had like blonde hair, and she was like and she was just like, she's like, I'm like a spoonful of sugar makes medicine go down type of girl. Like she's like, I never pay attention to those numbers on like my edibles when I take them, I just eat them like candy. And it was just funny because it was so her. Like she was just like really happy to be there. And then there was like the stoner dude who just like complained about his girlfriend for like 5 minutes. And then there was like the other guy, my favorite guy. He was like tall and like really skinny, and he was like, oh, my parents are like disappointed in me, like I like don't, he like still lives at home, and he's like an elementary school like assistant or something, like he doesn't actually have a job. And he was like talking about how he overshares with his students because like children are like good listeners and they're like honest. Like I don't know. Like there was like one where he was like, this like is like one of the few jokes that stuck with me. He was like one of the kids asked him like what his like biggest fear was or something, and he was like, and I told him the real answer. He was like, I'm afraid of failure, but even more so success. and then the kid was like, oh, I'm afraid of blueberries. I don't know, but he made me laugh. And then there was this dude who was like, he was like tiny and he was like gay, and he had like long hair, so like from the side he just looked like a 40-year-old woman. And he was funny, and he like talked about how he like didn't know anything about cars and shit. And then the last girl, I didn't she was just funny, but like her personality like wasn't as exaggerated as the other people's were. Like she just talked about like hookup culture and stuff, and like how it like kind of like she just can't with it. But like she was funny too, but like their overall stage presence was so good. Like they would also like point out people in the crowd and stuff, so you know that like their entire like skit isn't like totally memorized either. Like they just kind of talk, and like it felt like they were just talking to you. It didn't feel like it was a play or like an act or anything. Like it felt like it was funny, and it felt like you could like connect with them. Like everything they were saying, like they would make sure was like relatable to everyone. And I was really impressed. I did not think it was gonna be that fun, and I like had a good time actually. And they had like each person like had a phone with like all like everything they wanted to say, but they like never looked at it. Like at the end they would look at it to make sure they got through everything, and then be like, oh, a perfect set for once. Like they were funny, but they never really looked at their notes, and they were there was like never any awkward pauses, like how like usually like if I give a speech, like there's like times where I just like stop for a second. Like they're just so, I don't know how you get so good at public speaking like that. Cause like in before this class, like if I had seen that, I would have been like, yeah, like it was funny, but I feel like now when I watch people like do stand-up comedy like that, I'm so much more impressed because it's so hard to look that natural. Like I don't like it was, and like they're just like starting off too. Like they're not like real comedians or anything. So it's just impressive that like, and they were all like young, like maybe a few years older than me. And it's just like impressive because I was like, that must have taken like so much work. And I don't know, some of them are probably like natural at it, but like I was really impressed, and I wouldn't have been as impressed like if I hadn't taken this class beforehand. Like I noticed like the way they talked and like their hand gestures, like they all had like, and each person had like a different tone and like a different like use of how they used their hands and a different way they walked. Like the gay boy would like kind of like walk like all like shriveled up, and the stoner dude like had like more confidence, I guess, because he thought it was cool. So he was like walking around and he was like cool about it. But yeah, I was really impressed. Like there was no one, because sometimes like now when I see people like public speaking and like with this class, which I'm like not judging because that would be me, but like whenever I see people like struggling, like I freak out more than when I like what I used to. But like no, like everyone was like it was really good. I was really impressed. So yeah. I went to church on Easter for my second storytelling event, and it was in my hometown, and it's this giant ass church, and they don't do church how you're supposed to, I guess. Like in the Bible it says you can't like church should just be like the service, and like when you sing there should be like no instruments, like nothing extra, just like people singing. But that's kind of boring. So like this church has like, it's like a huge auditorium, and it's kind of like a concert at first. Like there's like lights, there's like a band, and there's like 6 people on the stage singing, and like everyone has to stand in the crowd and sing. And then once that's over, like the pastor gets up, and I like him because at like most churches, like the small ones that are like super, like they're like by the book churches, the pastor always just kind of like yells at you for like 2 hours and tells you like how you're gonna go to hell if you do this, and like they kind of like shit talk other religions sometimes. But like this one, like they straight up like they just like tell you the Bible lesson, and that's it. Like they don't really tell you how to live your life or like what you're doing wrong. They kind of just like give you the lesson. And so this guy, like, yeah, he like brings himself to your level. Like he's a father, he has kids, he has a wife, so it's like he's relatable to most people. And he always starts off the lesson with a personal story, which I think is cool, because like I guess like ethos, I guess, like you and it's always something like you can relate to. Like I guess his story, he always talks about his wife, which is funny because it's like always like kind of like drama, and like I'll listen to drama, so like I always pay attention to the story at least. And this one, it was more of like a don't judge others type vibe, where he was like talking about how like he was criticizing his wife for like, I don't know, like the way they have like certain chores that they split up, and she's like supposed to clean and he cooks. I don't know, because they both like work, so there's like no like power trip or anything. But he was like criticizing her for the way she like cleans or something, and she got pissed, and then he like didn't understand because he was like constructive criticism. But then he was like, there's also ways that she could have criticized me too, so like I should have just like not said anything, I guess. Like he said it better than how I'm explaining it. But I guess like the moral of the story was just like don't judge others, because like you have shit to fix too. And like I actually listened to like the story, but I kind of dozed off like once he started relating it to the Bible and stuff. But when I zoned back in, he was talking about like love thy neighbor or whatever. Like I guess him and his sons, I guess, were at Steak and Shake, and the family next to them did like a little prayer before their meal. So he paid for their meal and was like we love seeing families like these days like praying to God in public. Like you don't see that a lot anymore. And so then when my dad and my brother got like lunch after church, my dad was like, let's pray and see if anyone pays for our meal, and no one did, but it was funny. But yeah, I like the pastor, like he like like he always like can relate to you. Like he makes his stories relatable, and like most dudes at the like in churches don't really do that. So like I actually listen. Like most churches, when I have to go to church like with my like grandparents who are like really into it, like I never pay attention because it's just someone talking for 2 hours, and it's like there's like no speaking skills involved. Like they stand there like at like one of those pew things, I don't know, and they just like talk for like 2 hours, and like it's really monotone, and it's horrible. It's actually terrible. And but like this guy, like, yeah, he like uses the room and he like talks, he makes jokes. It's so much better. So like I actually like pay attention usually when he's talking, and like my brother's worse than me, like we just can't sit through that. But like after church, like we will talk about like the lessons we learned in church after, like for like a day after that, which is like impressive because it's like he left like an impact on us for a second. And like as people who aren't really religious, like for him to like make us like think about God for a few days is pretty impressive. So I think he did a good job. But like I just kept it was different because I didn't realize like how much effort he probably puts into those speeches, because he does a new one every week. And I've been to this church before, so he like always starts off like with a personal story, but it's just a different lesson every time. But yeah, I didn't realize till now like how like his stage presence, like he's so powerful. Like he walks around the room, he has like a really like loud voice, but he's so funny, and he's just like so like you're not afraid of him. Like most like pastors at like the church, like I would be terrified to like talk to, but he's just so like he's just a person. Like he doesn't make himself like feel like any more powerful than you. And so yeah, like I just appreciated it more now that I was like looking for like certain things, and like his tone and his voice, like when he wanted you to like really like he's so good at like when he like wants to make like a lasting impression on you, like he'll like talk and then there's like a long pause and then he'll like say his conclusion, and it's like, and you like kind of get chills sometimes. You're like, oh shit, like like this is serious. So yeah, like you can tell that like he practices like his pauses too, because like he stops and like will look at everyone, and it's like a huge building, but like he'll like look around and then he'll like keep talking again, or he'll like, I don't know, like he's a really good speaker though. Like I didn't appreciate it at all until I took this class. So at first I kind of hated this class, I'm not gonna lie, but towards the end I definitely didn't hate it at all. I just like it just made me nervous sometimes, but like in a good way. Like it pushed me out of my comfort zone in ways that I didn't even think about. Like the way the chairs are all set up like in the circle. I realized like in stats the other day when we were just sitting at regular desks, I realized like how much more comfortable I am like in that environment rather than like when you're sitting in the circle chairs and like everyone can see you and you can see everybody. But like it's a good, like you should definitely keep that. But I just didn't realize like at first how uncomfortable I was just sitting in the chairs until like yesterday. But then towards the end I was like so much like better, I guess. And then also I don't know why, but how like we don't raise hands like in class. I don't know why, but it was so difficult for me to just say what I had to say because I was so afraid I was gonna talk over someone else, or I don't know, it just felt like it was illegal because like in school they teach you like you have to raise your hand and like and then maybe you'll get called on and then you can like speak. Like you can't just speak like because you feel like it. And then I was also raised in like one of those families where like if you're like a kid, like your opinion automatically means less than like the adults in the family just because you're a kid. So like my whole life I kind of just like there's like a part of me that always thinks I'm wrong or like I shouldn't be talking. So it was like kind of hard for me, and it still was like at the end to just like say what I wanted to say. But that's definitely something that I know to work on now, because like in real life, like at a job, like no one's gonna like call on you to talk. Like if you're just gonna sit there and not talk the whole time, like you're gonna get fired, right? So like I have to like, I know now to like, I just have to be like more confident like with what I'm saying and like be more comfortable like just saying what I need to say. And I'm pretty horrible at allowing myself to like show my personality in like groups of people, especially when I don't know anybody. Like the only place I've been able to do that is volleyball, just because I'm like competitive, so it like comes out faster. Like all of my friends here are on the volleyball team, and like pretty much all of my close friends like in life I met at volleyball. So it was really hard for me at first to just like get over myself and just like show my personality in my speeches. And like when I first started to, because I was like, I like didn't have a choice. I was like, if I want a good grade in this class, I need to like actually like be myself. So, and I was so afraid everyone was gonna judge the fuck out of me. But I was just like, whatever, like I just need a good grade, so I'll just do it. And so like when I started getting positive feedback, I was like, okay, like maybe like maybe I like don't suck as much as I thought I did, you know? So like that was a good experience. And like out towards the end, I was so much better like in my speeches, just like being myself. And I've like, it takes forever for me to do that, for real. And I just think that like if I had gotten over myself like faster, I probably would have gotten more out of this class. But like I'm glad that I eventually like did. And like at least now like I know that I like need to work on like just allowing myself to be me and just like being more comfortable just like talking, I guess. So thank you for that.